Welcome to Creative Brews. I'm Kristin, and this is your weekly dose of creativity, where photography, design, and life come together. So, grab your favorite drink, and let's talk about what's brewing. Hello, and welcome back to another episode. Welcome back to Creative Brews. In today's episode, we are doing a Protect Your Frequency as a part of one of the little series that I've been doing. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about how and basically just talk about stop absorbing other people's energy. In this episode, we're going to talk about and focus on why we unconsciously absorb other people's energy, how it affects our mood, mindset, and decisions, and how to stop doing it without isolating yourself. So, if this is all something that you're interested in, I invite you to keep listening. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So, let me ask a question here for the overall arching everybody who's tuned in, for the collective and all that. Have you ever walked into a room feeling completely fine and then left feeling drained, overwhelmed, or just off? Or maybe you were having a great day, talked to one person, and suddenly your whole mood shifted. That's exactly what this episode and what we're going to be talking about is in a nutshell. It's not random. It's called energy. And more importantly, that's what I'm talking about. You absorbing energy that was never yours to carry in the first place. Today, we're talking about how to stop absorbing other people's energy so you can protect your frequency and stay aligned in your own energy. Of course, we all try to help people, and at the end of the day, we're all human. This basically is just something that I really have been wanting to talk about. It's not a recipe to, this is a recipe to how to stop absorbing people's energy. This is something that you're going to have to sit with and kind of teach yourself and learn how to do through your everyday life. This is something that you're going to have to try to implement, and you're going to fail, but then you're going to learn how to apply it next time, right? So, what exactly does it mean to absorb energy? Absorbing energy is something most of us do without even realizing it. You take on someone else's stress. You mirror someone else's mood. You carry conversations long after they have already ended, or long after they should have ended. You feel responsible for how others feel. And it often comes from being empathic, from caring and being aware or unaware, which are beautiful qualities, but without boundaries, they become draining. Without boundaries, you become a quote-unquote welcome mat for everybody to come and bring their stressors, I had a bad day, let me dump this on you. And yeah, people aren't walking around thinking, you know what, I'm going to go over here and talk to my best friend, and I'm going to just dump all my bad energy onto this person, right? But there again, sometimes, like that saying, misery loves company, sometimes people do it on purpose. I'm not going to totally sit here and be like, oh, people don't mean to do that. No, sometimes they do mean to do that. And you can tell. So if you have a friend, if you have a family member, if you have someone close to you that does that to you, you need to either do some boundary work. I'm not saying to totally shut them off, but anyways, let's keep moving here. Just because you feel someone else's energy doesn't mean it's yours to carry. That is a key line here to think about, to resonate on, to reflect on. Why does this happen? So, this happens, it happens quite often. It happens because of a bunch of different things. One of those being, you're probably an empath, or empathy without boundaries is, I think, the best way to put it. If you're an empath who does not have boundaries, you're going to become a welcome mat. I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just trying to keep it real and be honest. Because you feel deeply, but if no one taught you how to have boundaries, and I don't mean boundaries like, oh, build a wall, or put yourself in a bubble, or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. You need to teach yourself how to have healthy boundaries, especially with people who just dump their energy on you. So, apparently no one taught you how to separate your energy from others. That's another thing. You're going to have to learn how to separate your energy from others. Just because someone is talking to you and they've had a bad day, it doesn't mean that you need to absorb it and try to make it better and try to, you know what I mean? You can still help someone without absorbing that energy. It's hard to teach yourself that, and you're gonna fail, believe me. I've had to teach myself this, and yes. And I gotta say this, I'm filming this or recording this on April 11th, and right now it's 11/11, so everybody make a wish. Nah. I had to say it. Anyways, yes, it's a hard thing to teach yourself, but it is imperative, and it is something that you should teach yourself. Self-love, teach yourself boundaries, healthy boundaries, especially if you're an empath. Number 2, people-pleasing tendencies. Yes, you know how to touch on it. You want to keep the peace, so you internalize everything. These are also some tendencies that I had. I don't really people-please anymore, and guess what? When you stop people-pleasing, those people that you people-pleased are gonna be mad. And you know what? Let them be. That let them theory applies to number 2, okay? Lack of awareness. Number 3 is lack of awareness. You don't realize when your energy shifts, so you don't catch it in real time. So if you're someone who is lacking awareness, you need to try your best to not get blinded by the light. Number 4 is environment overload. So workplaces, social media, family dynamics, constant exposure to other people's emotions is what I'm talking about. This is one thing that people don't really realize, and once you do realize it, you kind of start separating yourself from these. So what I mean is, like, maybe you're on social media a lot, or maybe your workplace is super draining. So in those instances, what you should do is do what I like to call, again, blocks of time, especially on social media. I no longer allow myself to just sit on social media. If you do that, you're going to be unhappy. You're going to be depressed. You're going to have low energy. You're going to be comparing yourself and all this stuff. And you shouldn't be doing any of those things. What you need to do is get off social media, experience real life, and be present in the present moment. Stop being on autopilot. Family dynamics is hard because it's your family, and if you have someone who sucks your energy, or maybe they dump their energy on you all the time, maybe you try to sit down and have a conversation about it. Sometimes it is uncomfortable to do that, but sometimes it really helps. And honestly, if you can sit down and have a conversation, whether it's with a family member or your best friend, and y'all can talk about it from a place of love and understanding, and if the two parties can understand that, your relationship will get so much stronger. If you have a family member or best friend who you cannot do that with, guess what? You're most likely going to start separating yourself from that person. And it sucks. But anyways, so here's some signs that you're absorbing energy. You feel drained after being around certain people. Your mood changes quickly based on others. You overthink conversations. You feel emotionally heavy for no clear reason. You struggle to, quote unquote, shake it off or shake off interactions. And again, if any of these sound familiar, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It just means you need better energetic boundaries. Again, I don't mean boundaries like you clearly shut people off. That's not boundaries. Number 5, how to stop absorbing energy here. So number 1, you need to name it in the moment. Pause and ask, is this mine? Number 2, create energetic separation. You can care without carrying. That's big here. So I'm going to say that again. You can care without carrying. You can care about someone without taking their energy, absorbing it, and carrying it, thinking, oh, well, I'm going to make this better. No, you're not. And that's not yours to make better. You know what I mean? So there's a difference between caring about someone in a healthy way and people-pleasing to internalize their energy and thinking that you're going to be able to make their situation better. Does that make sense? So, here's an example to kind of visualize here. Imagine a boundary between you and the other person. Not a wall, but a filter. I think that's the best way to put it. Let's keep moving. Number 3, ground yourself. And any kind of little grounding rituals or anything like that you can do with yourself that helps, you should do it. Whether that's deep breathing, step outside, reconnect to your body, come back to yourself, all those things. Okay, so this is a big one, is to limit exposure when needed. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your energy. This is big because social media and all these things, our phones, our cell phones have made it so easy for people, whether that be people who know you, people who don't know you, your friends, your family, coworkers, your boss, whatever it is, maybe their clients, the list can go on here. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your energy. This is a great segue to go into. So I'm someone who usually, especially after a social encounter or a social event, I usually have to take a day, maybe a few days, to what I like to call recharge. Sometimes you feel that way when maybe you hang out with a group of friends. Maybe you hang out with or you go visit with your family members and stuff like that. It's not selfish to have to recharge. And if people don't understand that, whether they're close to you or not close to you, then that's on them. You can't force someone to hear you. You can't force someone to understand when they can't perceive and observe it in a way to understand you. If you're talking to someone and they really don't want to understand you, guess what? They're not going to understand you. So let's talk about some post-interaction resets here. Shake it off physically. So maybe you need to go for a run, a jog, a walk. Maybe you need to do some yoga. Maybe you need to go for a bike ride. Whatever it is that works for you. For me, walking outside really helps to reset and regenerate my energy. Journal it out. You can brain dump here. Take a few quiet moments. Maybe sometimes you just need to sit with yourself. Reflect, visualize, all those things. Release what isn't yours before it builds up. This is a very big key here. So, protecting your frequency isn't about avoiding people. It's about staying rooted in yourself while interacting with them. And again, not everybody's going to understand you. That's okay. Keep doing you, you know what I mean? So, here's a reflection sort of moment, some things to think about. You can journal about them if you want to, whatever works for you. I just want you to think about this. Think about who drains your energy the most. When do you feel the most off? What are you currently carrying that isn't yours? And this week, I want you to practice one simple thing here. Pause and ask yourself, is this mine? So as you move throughout your week, practice that. And we're going to go ahead and close this one. I was wanting to kind of keep this one short. I know here lately my episodes they've been pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Surprisingly. Except for the one that I had to cut into 2 parts. So you don't have to carry everything you feel, okay? You don't have to absorb every emotion in the room. And you don't have to lose yourself just because you care about others. I think that's a major one here. So your frequency sets the tone for your life. Choose it intentionally. That's a quote. I'm not sure who said it. I kind of just thought about it, so I don't know if it's an actual quote. Because sometimes it's funny about quotes because you can think of a quote and you're like, oh, that's my personal quote, which I am kind of dubbing this as my personal quote here. And then some people will be like, oh, well, somebody else said something similar. But yeah. Anyways, protect your energy, protect your peace, and protect your frequency. And as always, protecting your frequency is protecting your peace. It's protecting your life. It's, all these things. So, yes, if this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might be carrying energy that isn't theirs. And let's start protecting our frequency together. As always, please rate, comment, subscribe, all the things. It really helps to support this podcast. The support of this podcast is always amazing. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I really thank everybody for tuning in, especially the same people who keep tuning in and stuff like that. And yeah, again, please subscribe, that way you don't miss an episode. And also, follow my social links. They're listed in the show notes below and the description below. And you can also check out my book, The Daily Divine, a book of soulful truths and everyday wisdom. Is actually physical book. It's an ebook, and now it's also narrated by me. So in the narration, if I can talk, I wanted it to be more of a mindfulness, meditation, or a meditative experience. So yes, go listen to the sample, and if you do buy it, please let me know about it. Please rate the book, it really helps. And yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic week. And as always, I will see you all in the next episode. Bye!